Get ready for tons of sunshine, a whole lot of heating, and not much in the way of precipitation. Hey everyone, good afternoon. Darrell here from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Through the last couple of days, we've already had a lot of changes and even more are expected, so buckle up. It's going to be fun. And remember, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'm going to do my best to answer them all the way through this evening. So let's start off with those cameras across Central Oregon, each one of them painting a different picture, but all together we have tons of sunshine and some light clouds across the high desert. You might notice a little bit of haze. That's due to a couple prescribed burns as well as the Houston fire that we had yesterday. And we're going to talk about all of that here in the next few minutes as well. So let's start off with air quality, where you see those little flames just to the southwest of Sisters. That's where one of our prescribed burns is, but not just the hourly average. Even the East Space sensors are showing that we have good air quality across the high desert. Afternoon winds are getting a little on the breezy side, but let's talk about some of these details. There is a little bit of a smoke plume coming off of that prescribed burn just to the southwest Sisters, and that one is, if you're tracking it or you're following along, that's Safford 240 and 264 units. But also, if you look just south of Terrebonne, there is a little bit of green there. That's the evacuation notice that's still in place. Our prescribed burn is going to be 91 acres altogether, and the fire that we had yesterday, that Houston fire, that was a total of 20 acres after everything was all said and done. We still have a fire evacuation zone, level 1, be ready, and that's going from Highway 97 further off to the east, going all the way over to Northwest Way. And again, that's just south of Terrebonne. So that is something we're continuing to track. We'll let you know when that fire evacuation zone is dropped completely. And it looks like they're just continuing to do some mop up. Now, when it comes to winds, they've been a little on the gusty side here this afternoon. Gusts between 8 and 19 miles per hour. I'm sorry, take that back, strike that. 8 and 23 miles per hour. A little bit stronger winds in Warm Springs at the moment. And they're all coming out of the north and the northwest. Actual winds are mostly between 10 and 20 miles per hour. So not too bad, but what we're used to this time of the year. Get into the afternoon under this sunshine with a whole lot of heating, and we start to get winds that are getting breezy through the afternoon, getting into the evening. Now remember, this wind trend graphic, everything to the left of that white line, the now line, is already observed. Everything to the right of it is forecast. So we're still getting into that breezy stretch of the afternoon and evening hours, but around and after sunset, we're going to start to see those winds tapering off. Then through the day tomorrow, we see a repeat. By the afternoon and evening, breezy, then tapering off, and that pattern just continues all the way through Friday. And meanwhile, when it comes to satellite and radar, there is a little bit of cloud cover, just no rain in sight. And when it comes to those clouds, most of them are over the greater Pennington area, getting into Baker City, coming from the Tri-Cities, and they are dry. So let's switch gears. Let's look at a different version of satellite, because right now you have radar and a blend of visible and infrared satellite on that graphic. When we switch gears and look at the infrared satellite, and there is an enhancement on it to really pick out some of those tall clouds, what we're seeing is most of that cloud cover, that moisture, is going around our ridge of high pressure. Let's back up and look at the bigger picture. When we do that, we can see that high pressure is firmly planted out over the Pacific Ocean and stretched into the Pacific Northwest. Most of this activity is just going right around our high and pretty much avoiding the high desert. That's good news, bad news. Good news, we get the sunshine. We're about to get a lot more heating, so especially if you've been waiting for those summer-like temperatures, they are on the way. Bad news, we haven't had precipitation in a while, or at least good precipitation that's widespread, dumping buckets on us, and that is leading to surface fuels really drying out. Add in a very dry air mass over Central Oregon. It's not as bad as it was yesterday. Yesterday we had those yellows over the high desert. Today it is blue, but it's still dry, and all of those conditions piled up, along with the breezy winds during the afternoon and evening hours. Fire weather conditions are becoming a top priority, and that's definitely the case because of the Houston fire fire that we had yesterday. Now, high temperatures so far in the last 24 hours, mostly in the 70s with a few 80s. That Sun River sensor just not acting properly, but that's okay. We'll look at raw temperatures, the actual temperature outside, mostly 70s. We have 68 in Sun River, and this is close to average for this time of the year, and then that's not going to be the case as we go forward. Actually, today we're running between 3 degrees cooler and 2 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago. Now, let's talk about the forecast, because tonight we do fall back into the 40s with a few 30s out there. By Thursday, we're warming into the mid to upper 70s, lower to mid 80s, topping out on either side of 80 degrees. This is the beginning of our next round of heating, and that heating is going to bring us into the 90s. But with the abundant sunshine also comes skincare to the top of mind. Make sure that knowing the UV index is definitely going to help you with that. But through the next couple of days, it just stays in that very high range. Today it's 8, today it's 9. By Thursday, it comes back down, or it stays at 9. By Friday, it comes down to 8. Still in that very high range, not quite extreme, but just know that you are going to have direct sunshine through most of the day. And remember that UVI, ultraviolet index, and temperatures have a correlation, but not that correlation doesn't really mean causation. And so even though temperatures today are in the 70s, we still have a very high UVI, and it's going to be the case again tomorrow. When it comes to very high UVI, remember those sunglasses and use sunscreen. You'll want to make sure that you're doubling down, or when I say that, I just mean reapplying it every 2 hours is what I meant to say. And if you're spending a whole lot of time outside, grab that hat. Also consider some UPF instead of SPF. That protective clothing definitely helps, and if need be, seek the shade, but definitely stay hydrated. And if you have sensitive skin, you might want to avoid the sun if possible, but this is a pattern we're going to be getting into with that very high UVI through the next couple of months, really. Now, when it comes to our temperature planner, what we're looking at is increasing temperatures through the next several days. So this forecast model specifically looks at the temperature trend and where you have hot spots, where you have cool spots as we go forward, and it's a high resolution model. I've added on wind streams and surface analysis and a couple of words, so it really helps paint the picture. So through Thursday, we're looking at highs in the 70s with some 80s. Again, breezy afternoon hours going into the evening, and we're topping out on either side of 80. By Friday, we're topping out well into the mid to upper 80s. Some 90s are possible. Additional clouds are expected. That's why we're bumping the UV cast down. But by Saturday, cranking it back up again. Under tons of sunshine, we're heating up into the 90s with a few 80s possible. So that warming trend continues right into the weekend with 90s expected Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. By Monday, though, there's a chance of some showers, and in our house we called it a Dumb and Dumber chance, referring to the movie back in the 90s. It's one of those, so you're saying there's a chance, there's that kind of chance of some convective showers by Monday afternoon getting into the evening. Now, our forecast model shows that here through the next couple of days we're keeping more sunshine than clouds, but additional clouds each afternoon. Friday brings the change up. The weak wave of moisture is rolling through, more clouds are expected. That's why we're nudging down that UV forecast, the intensity forecast. And then our forecast model takes us into Saturday when we have tons of sunshine, sitting pretty under that ridge of high pressure Saturday and Sunday. But going forward past that with the GFS, remember the GFS isn't as high resolution, but it still helps paint a really good picture, and it goes all the way through 10 days. We're just going to take it to the end of the 7-day planner. But by Sunday, more sunshine than clouds, some afternoon clouds. By Monday, we have some afternoon clouds again, but with the amount of heating we're looking at through the next 3 days, if we have a chance for rain, it's either going to be Sunday or Monday. And it's just going to be some convective showers, so fizzling out as quickly as they pop up. But anything that develops during that time frame, we're going to be tracking for thunderstorm activity. By Tuesday, we get a dip in temperatures. By Wednesday, still looking at sunshine and no rain in sight. So, all the way between now and Friday at 11 p.m., there's a chance of a few sprinkles, but I really think if we see anything, it's going to be Virga, where showers start to fall and evaporate before they hit the surface. So, for tonight, we're falling back into the 40s with a few 30s out there. Fast forward to Thursday, 70s and 80s. Again, topping out on either side of 80 degrees with some additional cloud cover by the afternoon hours. And your 7-day planner shows the heating trend continues into the weekend, through the weekend, and into next week. By Tuesday and Wednesday, we get a modest dip in temperatures, but that's still, look at that, 88 and 82. That's still well above the average high of 74 degrees. So let's recap it for you. Here in the next couple of days, our weather headlines for this Wednesday, June the 4th, we're heating up right into and through this weekend. A rain-free forecast is expected. Each afternoon is going to be breezy with a little bit more cloud cover, and all of this in total means that our fire weather risk is rising. Let's look at a couple other things. Some people are going to drop out. That's fine. Let's look at a couple of other things just so we can really paint a picture of what's happening. So when it comes to the rainfall for the last month, we are dry. When it comes to rainfall for the last year, we're on par with it. Not too bad. The latest drought monitor comes out tomorrow. So this one is what we had last week, and it shows abnormally dry conditions coming down through the valley and the northeastern corner of the state. We're still drought-free on the high desert, but because of the lack of precipitation, these last couple of weeks really is as far as meaningful precipitation that's going to help these conditions. It does look like they could be redrawing some of those lines by the time we get to tomorrow. Going past the 7-day planner, we're staying unseasonably hot and not much in the way of precipitation. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I will do my best to get to them through the rest of this evening and past that if you have any real questions that you want answered. But ultimately, here through the next couple of days, we're heating up. A whole lot of sunshine, breezy afternoons, and not much in the way of precipitation. That's it. Join us tonight at 5 and 11 on ABC and at 6, 7, and 11 on CBS with the latest headlines and news and your full and most reliable forecast. See you then.